I've got a lovely deboned leg of lamb in the oven that's going to be served with a ratatouille niçoise, a minted chimichurri sauce, and a great couscous. But first, let's go to Scotland and I'll show you how to make that lamb Hebridean style. I'm David Jackson. 40 years ago, I was cooking in swanky hotels and winning awards from the American Culinary Federation. 30 years ago, I hosted a nutrition-conscious cooking series for the Hospital Satellite Network. 10 years ago, despite half a century of good eating habits, I found out that I wasn't immortal. And I'm not alone. Can doctors' orders to moderate salt, fat, and refined carbs share our plates with mouth-watering gourmet recipes? Yes, they can. For the past 25 years, I've fortunately had access to a quaint 200-year-old seaside cottage in the Outer Hebrides. It's been my home away from the hottest part of the desert summers in Southern California, and has some pretty good salmon fishing too. But if the salmon aren't biting, I like to build a fire ring on the beach and roast a succulent leg of Hebridean grass-fed lamb, just like the Scottish clans did ages ago. The first step is to insert some peeled garlic cloves and tender sprigs of rosemary. They go into the plumper portions of the deboned lamb leg using a small, narrow-bladed knife. Next, dust the roast with a pinch or two of freshly ground black pepper, just pepper, and secure it to some sort of stake or spit. Once secured, rub the lamb with 2 tablespoons of olive oil and it's ready to go to the fire. The roasting process is simple as can be. Position the steak lamb near the flames or over the coals and flip and turn the meat as you need to. The secret ingredient to this caveman cuisine is seawater. I gather mine in a spray bottle out in the bay where it's the cleanest. As the lamb is roasting, spray periodically with Mother Nature's brine. It helps keep the dry roasted lamb moist and imparts a gentle, salty flavor to the meat. This is why I didn't season with dry salt earlier along with the pepper. When the meat feels medium rare to the touch in the fattest part, or when a meat thermometer reads about 135 Fahrenheit, it's ready to pull from the fire and rest before serving. Whether that's on fine china or a nearby flat rock is entirely up to you. Now, not everybody has their own beach barbecue in the Hebrides, so you can do this lamb at home from your oven just as easily. Look at that. That is lovely. Now, that was about a 4 to 4.5 pound deboned leg of lamb. We did impregnate it with garlic and rosemary like we did out in the Hebrides. And then we put a little bit of salt on it because there's no seawater, and pepper, a little olive oil. That was it. It went in the oven for about an hour, hour and 10 minutes at 375, and it should be about 120 degrees internal temperature, medium rare. Now we're going to let that rest and we're going to tackle the ratatouille. Start with 2 tablespoons of good olive oil in a deep-sided sauté pan over medium heat. Mince 5 or 6 cloves of garlic, which are very good for heart health, adding them to the pan along with 1 large onion cut into coarse chunks. Split 2 small or 1 large zucchini and cross-cut into bite-sized pieces. Next, remove ribs and seeds before coarsely chopping 2 bell peppers, 1 red and 1 yellow. Then cube half an eggplant and pop that into the pan as well. Try keeping all the vegetables of equal size and quantity. Add 2 cups of grape or cherry tomatoes, which I prefer for a ratatouille because they're already the perfect size and usually sweeter and more flavorful. Season with a scant 2-finger pinch of salt, plus a few grinds of black pepper. Add a half teaspoon each of thyme and marjoram, and finish with a sprig of fresh rosemary. That is lovely. Oh, it smells great too. All right, we'll let that cook down, and now we're going to make our minted chimichurri. All right, minted chimichurri in a mortar and pestle. Chimichurri is actually an Argentinian herb sauce that was put on beef down there, but it's been used all over the world. It's very popular, and I have added mint to it because of the lamb. In the mortar, 2 pinches of salt. Not only is it flavor, but it also acts as a sort of sandpaper for the garlic. 3 cloves of garlic and a heaping teaspoon, or a little bit more, of minced shallot. All right, And use a little elbow grease. This has to be mashed up into a complete paste. Doesn't take too long. This is seriously old school, but then so am I. Okay, this lovely bouquet of herbs includes flat leaf Italian parsley, cilantro, and back here is mint. What we're going to do is trim off as much of the leaves, leaving as much of the stalks. We don't want the stalks too much because they get fibrous when you break them up in the mortar and pestle. And we don't want stringy sauce. So what we want is about a cup of fairly tightly packed Italian parsley. Okay. Next, cilantro, and we don't need as much. Maybe a quarter cup. And what it does to your food is amazing. And to your health. Okay, there's that. And finally, the best part is mint. Now, chimichurri is normally just parsley and coriander. I add the mint because of the lamb, and I think it's way better than mint jelly. Back with this, and all of the herbs in. And here comes the hard work. Yes, I know there's all kinds of speedy, labor-saving kitchen devices, but I like this way. I think I get a better product. Half a lemon. Always filter either with a strainer or through your fingers. We don't want pips in here. Half a lemon. 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. I like a little bit less. Some chimichurris call for quite a bit. That's about it right there. 1.5. And then at least 2 up to 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Remember, olive oil is a very healthy monounsaturated fat, but it is a fat and it's very concentrated and has a lot of calories. So you don't need to use more than is necessary to lubricate the sauce and give it a sheen. You know, it went from a bunch of leaves into this lovely kind of it's sort of like a vinaigrette with lawn trimmings, but it sure doesn't taste like it. Oh, come to Papa. Do you see these little plugs of garlic and the little bit of rosemary right here? They're studded throughout the whole roast, which is nice, and impart a lot of lovely aromatic flavor. All right, let's slice this baby up. Obviously, the ends are always fairly well done. But as we get into the middle, yeah, look at that. It's getting nice. It's just about where I like it. Lamb that's too rare in a roast, it just kind of bleeds all over the place. This is medium rare to medium. All right. Now let's plate this. First of all, there we go. And that, like that. That is about the size of a deck of playing cards when it's all settled down. That's about 3 to 4 ounces, which is the right portion. Now, the couscous. This is a lovely starch or carbohydrate element that is good for the balance of any healthy meal, but you don't want too much. We want about 1/2 cup, just like that. And then the ratatouille niçoise. That medley of very colorful vegetables, and don't cheat yourself on this. The idea of healthy portioning is to have about 1/4 protein, 1/4 carbohydrate, and at least half the plate plant-based vegetables like this. And by just adding a spoonful of the minty, tangy chimichurri, that is a perfectly complete and very tasty meal.